Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to work with looping in SAP workflow. Now here, this is the workflow which I have created. From the start of the workflow, I will set an expiry date. So this is a container operation, and I can set it to any date I like. And in this example, I have set the expiry date. This is a container which you can see is here. Is something I've created as a custom container for the workflow. It's not a system container, and I'm setting the date to 27 January. Now if you would like to take note also on the server right now, at this moment the server time is 31st January, right? So because later we're going to do a comparison, so you might want to take note of this first. Then after the setting the date to 27 January, next step is that I entering into a loop, and in this loop I'm using a user decision to do a kind of a pause, just to allow me to examine the looping in a better way. So the user decision has nothing except that it will show this message, click to continue processing, and that's about it. Okay, so this is just to kind of pause a little bit so that I get a chance to examine the workflow a little better. Then after this pause, what is going to happen is this container operation, which I will try to play around with a counter. Again, I'm using another container element to try to control the loop, and this time this one is just to increment the counter, and I have created a counter container element, and each time the loop goes through I will increment the counter by 1, so this is the expression I'm using, and I'm using add here, and I'll add it by 1. Okay, so this is how I would increment the counter. And this is the looping, right? So this is a loop until, and I will loop until the counter is greater than 3, or today's date is greater than the expiry date which has been set earlier, right? And let's go in and have a look at this setting. This is the one that I've set. Counter, it will loop until counter is greater than 3, or today's date is greater than expiry date which is set earlier. You can change this one by clicking on this, and you will go in and you'll be presented with this expression editor. You can play around with this to make the changes as you like. Okay. So this is how the loop is. So now with the date being set to 27, and today's date on the server is 31st, what is going to happen is that after one execution of the loop, when it comes in and examine, it will find that today's date, which is 31st January, is greater than the expiry date, which is 27 January. It will just exit and will not loop in the loop itself, and it will just complete the whole workflow. Let's get started and see whether this goes or not. Okay, and first of all, let's make sure in the business workplace I don't have anything that is sitting there because of some earlier testing I was doing. So come back here, it's clean. Now I will execute it now, and it has been executed. And let's look at the workflow, graphical workflow now. Let's see what happened. So it is now at this stage, the expiry date has been set, and let's take a look at what is the status. It says a result is set to 27 January to 1, right? Expiry date is set, and the processing round is at this stage whereby there is a pause. So I need to go to my business workplace and try to act on the decision. So I go to user workplace, business workplace, and I will I have to act on this user decision, right? And I just say click to continue processing, and I've done that. Then I go back to the workflow and I look at the workflow processing, and now you can see that it has passed this user decision, which is just a pause, and then it goes down here, which increment the counter, and it comes down here to examine exit condition for the loop. And yes, it found that the date today is greater than 27 today, which is 31st, is greater than the 27 January is true. Then it exits and the workflow is completed, as you can see, right? Okay, in the next video I'm going to show you how to play around with the counter.